the only thing that there's just too little of.
Yes.
We got everything else but love. True, authentic love will share, will help, would have empathy for other people. But nowadays, people can see people, hungry on the street and wouldn't even offer them $1, or even offer them to come in to help take care of the kids if they're a single parent, and know that they have every opportunity because they maybe be next door with the person or whatever and don't have a job and could do it but refuse to do it. It's almost like people want to see you fail.
Yep.
And I miss the times where people really genuinely care. You had neighbors where you would go get a cup of sugar when you didn't have it, or a cup of rice when you didn't have the money. Those days are long gone. Everybody was on one area of the neighborhood, and everybody was part of that neighborhood and took care of the kids, helped take care of the kids. They were like family. And so we don't see things like that anymore.
That is so true. We're 37. So we remember, pretty sure y'all do, when you got in trouble, the neighbor found out.
That's right. They
told your
whooped
mama, told your auntie. You got like 4 or 5 whoopers by the time you got to your mama.
That's right.
You just like, I done had enough. Like, I ain't gonna do that ever.
No more.
Ever again. I miss that. I miss that so much. And we had a daughter, our oldest just turned 18, so she's down in Florida doing her own thing. But they will tell you we are very old school. We disciplined, and that's how we, got raised. We all got raised, that's what. And we just say that to say, like, a lot of us want to be our kids' friend now. That's the generation we're living in.
Yeah.
We don't know how familiar you are with TikTok or anything, but we always going to see the mom shaking their behind with their daughter.
Yeah, with the daughter.
Like, ain't my baby cute? And she half naked. Then when the damn pedophile end up in your inbox, you're gonna be like, why are you contacting me? Or why are you advertising your daughter? Like,
right. That's right.
Make it make sense.
Say it again. Say it again.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, and because of the discipline, daughter ain't been pregnant. She ain't got no disease. She about to graduate from high school. Got a car, a job. She's aspiring to be her own businesswoman. Hopefully she'll do a podcast, so we'll see. But she wants to do like cosmetics and lashes and all that stuff. So we still support them in whatever they do, but we miss that old school. Like, mom told your grandma and your grandma told, and by the time you get to the family, they're like, you was wrong. Like,
right. And you couldn't get away with anything.
No, they remind you.
One of them, little grandmama on the porch, everything that's going on in the neighborhood. She's gonna tell your mama what you're doing, and like you said, the neighbor can whoop you, and your mama wouldn't come with a gun, go blow your brains out because you hit their child.
Exactly.
It's crazy stuff. I mean, just because they're trying to help discipline kids nowadays, you can get killed by trying to do that. I mean, it's crazy.
We don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear the truth. There's no handbook on being a parent, but you just can't let your kids run all crazy, And when our daughter would go with her friends, I need phone numbers, I need names, what time you gonna be home, and she'll text. She keep in touch. All that, mommy, we're gonna spend the night or whatever. And we knew these people, so we knew she was safe. And that's where she's actually living right now, in Florida. But we was the old.
Is she okay? Because that storm is in Florida. Is everything okay?
Yeah, they're in Jacksonville. We did talk to her yesterday, so she's okay.
Thank God.
Great. Yeah. But we've lost our sense of community.
Yes.
We have lost our sense of community.
Yes,
we have. There's just no such thing as that. We live in neighborhoods. We do not know our neighbors.
That's right.
We don't know who's next door to us.
That's right.
The neighborhood I'm in now, here in Montgomery, Alabama, I've been here 7 years. I have no clue who my neighbors are.
I believe it.
Except for one. But the ones to the left of me and across the street, I have no idea who they are.
Yeah, that's where we are, the air we're in.
Yeah, and so you don't know who's around you. You don't know what's going on. And so it's just we've lost our sense of community.
We have, and that's what I miss.
And that's why our communities are torn up the way they are now. Yep. And I don't know where you guys live, but every morning when I turn on the news here in Montgomery, there's been 1 or 2 shootings.
Per
night. It's everywhere.
Per
night. Yep. At least 2 per night.
Yep. Well, I live in
Yeah.
Charlotte, North Carolina, so it's the same every
Yeah.
day in Charlotte. Somebody's gotten killed. A young lady got killed, 15 years old, in her bed sleep. They had drive-by shooting and shot up her house. And that same area, I have a sister where her son lived in an apartment complex, and they did the same thing the same week and shot up their apartment, and their children were in the room. Thank God no one got killed. But unfortunately, the little 15-year-old in the same area that this happened, they came back in the house and they found their daughter dead because somebody just randomly started shooting up in the house. It's just so sad. And then there was another young guy, I think he was about 3 years old last year, had drive-by shooting. So it's just ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know when it's going to stop. It probably never will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
These are the last and final days. You know, we're
These are
living
the last and
Revelation
final
right
days.
now.
We're in the end.
Yeah,
We're in
we're
the
living
end.
it right now.
We're
We
in
are.
the end.
Mhm.
That's why
We're in
platforms
the
like
end.
this is so important. Thank you so much for Queen Anne. This is so important because people are losing hope.
Yep.
Yes.
People are killing themselves. I heard on the news a few weeks ago, they said that it was about, I think, 400 and something people doing COVID. No, it was 4,000 and some people doing COVID has killed themselves. They did a statistic on TV, and I couldn't believe it. I said, what? 48,000. Thank you, Lord. 48,000 have committed suicide since 2020.
It's gone
and
up.
I'm sure it's others that have, and they just don't even have the data for it. You know, it's just so sad because they don't advertise, normally, thank God they don't advertise suicide. So there's no telling how many. I know we did get a call last year or during that time. A young lady asked us to pray. We have a prayer call 3 days a week. And her 15-year, one neighbor went over to the house, and the 15-year-old daughter had hung herself. And her sister found her, ran to her house, and asked her to come, because her sister had hung herself, and she had to go and see this young lady right next door to them that they knew. And it was just devastating to the whole family. Nobody knows to the day why she why she hung herself. 15 years old.
Wow.
So this is a very great topic to talk about tonight. I think hopefully people can have some hope and find a way to get back to where they need to be, where they can live freely without sorrow and pain. That's my prayer tonight. That we can help.
We in the end. We're gonna say that first off and foremost. A lot of people are living in fear. Number 2 and number 3, Constance, we like what you said. We remember growing up and you knew all your neighbors. If you didn't know all of them, you knew at least a few of them. If you needed something or whatever. But now, like you said, where you said you live at again, Constance?
Montgomery, Alabama.
And you say you don't know your neighbors at all.
At all.
At all. See, that's people. The times have changed. We can't really put our finger on it, but we know it's different now. Like everybody kind of just mind their business and don't really
want to talk and want to open up. They don't trust people.
Yeah. I know for me, when I come home, my garage door goes up, I go in and I close the garage door, and that's it. That is it. And even when I go to put my trash out, if I don't see anybody, I mean, it's just mean if I do, they may speak or they may not. And like I said, we have not been introduced, and we have not broken that ice to introduce ourselves to each other. So you're in a situation where you're isolated. You're surrounded by people, but you're really isolated. You really are. You really are. And so these are the times that we're living in, and people are going through so much. There's so much going on in our life today. And people are going through so much, and they're isolated because they're probably in the same situation as we are, don't know who's around them, and afraid and fearful to reach out for help.
Right. And they're afraid too. I think fear has an element as well. So many people have been hurt, abused, persecuted. There's been betrayal, and so people have just went into close in their life and they keep the privacy, and they don't want to be attached to anybody because they don't trust nobody, because they look back at their limited beliefs of what happened to them a long time ago or either recently. So it's hard for them to trust again. I was in that place at one time where I was just isolated. Although I knew my neighbors next to me, I really didn't want to go out and fellowship or try to get to know anybody else. You know, it's like I'm comfortable with these two people on each side of me. As far as going out trying to meet friends and check out neighbors, I just wouldn't. I would just stay in the house. I felt like it was my safe place because I had been hurt so much, and I just, closed in. So it's a lot of people like you said, Miss Constance, that they just go in and don't even know who their neighbors are. Close the door, go to the garbage. If you don't see nobody, you don't speak to nobody. But in some ways, I think sometimes now we have to be cautious because it's so many wicked people out there that will play on you as an older person or somebody that's weak. So you can't open up yourself to everybody, but I do believe God has somebody for everybody to be able to connect with in their neighborhood and their surroundings.
Oh yeah. And a lot of people go into what we call a shell because and it's something we still working on trying to change, is we're very antisocial because we had a lot of trust issues. So we definitely know how that is. And like we said, that's what's one of the reasons why we're killing each other. We don't trust each other.
That's right.
We get alerts on our phone 2-3 times a day. Mom been killed, daughter been killed, somebody died in a fire. They was accident or something yesterday. Like it's 3-4 times a day, and we just shake our head like this is sad. It's very sad.
It's so sad.
And a lot of us don't really know, and we'll never know like why people commit suicide because we're afraid to really put ourselves out there, if you will, and share our feelings. Because another thing, Black people can be very judgmental because no one is perfect.
Yes.
No one is
the
perfect.
Church can be very not can be. The church is very judgmental. Okay, and because they feel that there is no place for religion and mental health, they don't work. They don't work together.
You're absolutely right.
And I know growing up in the AME church, when you talked about going to get counseling, no. We have discipline, we have Christ, and that's all you need. Well, I'm sorry. Sorry. God has given people talents and trained them to be able to come to our aid and to rescue us in a time of need. Because guess what? It's okay not to be okay, but you can't stay there.
Say it again.
Amen.
Say it again.
You can't stay there. And yes, mental health counseling can exist with spirituality.
I second that.
You have to understand that God sent you to provide the resources, okay?
Right.
But you have to also have faith that He will deliver and heal you.
That's right.
So it works hand in hand. And so it's a stigma in the Black community about mental illness. I can remember growing up. I can remember growing up, and they say, "Oh, that's something." We don't have mental health issues. That's a white people thing. That's not true.
Yep.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's a people thing. Period. Okay.
It don't matter what race or what background.
It does not matter. It does not have to respect the person. No. Mental illness is real. It is real, and it can affect anybody. And just getting back on suicide, back in March, I spoke in Paris, France on suicide prevention. And after I got through speaking, and so we had like a 15-minute question and answer session after we spoke, but mine went over to 35 minutes because people had so many questions. And a lady from Norway came up to me and she says, "I need to get you to come to my country to speak because we have so many suicides, especially among young women, and we don't know what to do about it." Some statistics that I looked up: 30,000 people per day either attempt to take their lives or they attempt and they are successful. 30,000 per day. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
And so, as a nurse and as a mental health practitioner in the work environment, I understand what to look for. But what about your family members and the average layperson? How do we help them to understand suicidal ideation and how to recognize it. So I have a principle called the tribe effect, because we always say it takes a village to raise a child. And that's true. But guess what? When it comes to things like suicide prevention, it takes a tribe. It takes a tribe, and it takes a group. Everybody has to be in tune. So even as far as the neighborhood mailman, maybe he's talked to that person, because when a person is suicidal, they tend to isolate themselves. But maybe they may walk outside and see the postman, somebody who's totally different, and they may share something with him that they would not share with someone else. So you need to find, if you have a family member that you have a feeling things aren't right, if you notice a change in their routine, in their behavior, okay, it's important that you know who is around them. Are they going to work? Who is working with them? And being in contact with them so you can help recognize triggers in people. Because see, certain things trigger people. The holidays. The holidays are coming. That's a depressing time for a lot of people. Maybe it's the anniversary of the death of a loved one. Different things trigger people. And so from a layman's term, we need to approach it from the basic foundation to help laymen understand how to identify when someone is at risk for suicide. And it's very important.
Yeah, it is.
The reason I wrote my first book, I was in the church, Pentecostal church, and suffering from depression for years. And when I approached the leader about me getting help, the first thing they said is, saints don't get depression. That you need to pray harder, fast, and God will heal you. So I went on with my life for several years, but lo and behold, it didn't help. The prayer, not saying prayer didn't help, it helped me calm me down a little bit, but the mental illness was still there. I found myself sad a lot, go to work, nobody even knew I was depressed, go to church, have a good time, come back home, and I would just get into bed and crawl up in a knot, medicate myself with alcohol, anything I could do to just get relief from the pain that I was feeling. You see, I grew up in an alcohol-induced home where my father beat my mother on a regular basis. And I was molested by a family member for years. And then I got raped. And then my father killed my mother with a single gunshot wound to her stomach. And one day I lost my mother to death. I lost my father to prison. I lost my brothers and sisters because we were split up to live with different family members. So I was left there wounded at 15 years old, still trying to go to college, trying to go to graduate from high school, and just had so many pain and sorrows that I couldn't go to nobody to talk about. And with that, I finally got delivered over the years, thank the Lord. And I wrote a book about depression. And when my book came out, a lot of these Christians, they talked about it because I shared too much. Some of them said, you shouldn't have never told nobody you tried to kill yourself. Why you want to air your dirty laundry? To me, it wasn't dirty laundry. It was freedom. I didn't want anybody to be in the place that I was in, the pain that I was in for years, where people could walk past you and never know that you were, even contemplating suicide. So the first time I tried to commit suicide was when I got raped, living with my aunt right after my mother died. I took a bottle of pills, woke up in the hospital with police officers and everybody over me asking me questions. And that was terrifying to me. I went to court and I told them who the gentleman was. And when I left the courts, I lost because they said I was a whore because I didn't have nobody to go with me. My mother was dead. My aunt couldn't get off from work. I'm there by myself at 17 years old in a courtroom, which I shouldn't have never been there by myself. And then when I left outside, one of the guy's friends threatened to kill me because now he can't play football. They kicked him off the football. So that was trauma. I got married at a young age and couldn't handle the marriage because I thought my husband was having attributes as my father, but it was in my mind because if he tried to speak to me in a harsh way, I thought he was going to hit me. So I was, just miserable about that, wondering if this man was going to kill me, if this man is going to hit me. He never did any of those things, but it was in my mind. And then I tried to calm that with alcohol. I tried to calm it with marijuana. Nothing seemed to happen. Nothing seemed to work. So in my marriage, I tried to commit suicide the second time. I felt like if I'm gone, my husband will take care of my son and they'll be fine. But I felt like I wasn't a good mother. I felt unworthy. So that was the second time. And then the third time, I was just gave up on life. Too much was too heavy. But I thank God today I'm here. And that's why I speak to hurting women to let them know you don't have to go that path. God has a plan for you. But through it all, it gave me compassion for other women that's suffering and going through. And so because we didn't get help, all my siblings struggled and were alcoholics because we never got into counsel because Black people didn't believe in counseling. We didn't know how to heal ourselves, so we medicated ourselves. And 7 years ago, my brother, whom I love dearly, put a gun to his head and blew his brains out. So I know the pain of suicide. It's real. We've got to listen to our loved ones. My brother came to me a month before he committed suicide and told me he tried to commit suicide a few months past. And I thought he was just kidding. I said, why are you playing games? You know, are you serious? And you would have thought I would have understood because I tried to do 3 times. But I thought he had gotten over the pain of what we went through. And he's a happy-go-lucky person. I've never seen him sad. So I really got serious and started talking to him about it. We had prayer and I asked him to get some help. And he didn't get help. And a month later, he came to our church. And I hugged and embraced him and told him I love him. He asked me to go out to dinner with him, but I was too busy. And the next week he killed himself. So after he killed himself, I went into a deep, dark depression all over again. But this time I knew how to get out, talk to someone, get some help. And with the grace of God, I was able to bounce back from the death of my brother 7 years ago. So that's why I'm so compassionate about this suicide piece, because when I first time I tried to commit suicide, family member of mine was so cruel. He came to me, he said, why are you playing games? If you wanted to kill yourself, you would have took a gun and blew your brains out. So next time, why don't you do that? And he don't know how much that hurt me, even to the day. It broke my heart that someone would even say something like that to me. I was only 17 years old, hurting because I had lost everything I had. So people don't understand. They laugh about it. They pick at you. Like with me, even giving this information to you all now, it's going to be some people going to be critical. It don't bother me. I'm trying to help other people be free in their spirit and know that they can make it no matter how bad the situation is. God has a purpose for them. He has a plan for everybody that's on the face of this earth. And the enemy see who you are. That's why he's afraid of who you are. And he's trying to destroy you through your own mental illness and frustration and anger and pain. You can do and you can move forward. You can do better and you can move forward in anything that you're going through. I believe that. But it takes a positive mindset. And then you need to love yourself and know no matter what's going on in your life, you can make it and be a survivor. I'm a witness. I'm here today.
Amen.
Yeah, you can. First off, definitely please accept our condolences for your brother. We have one as well. We can't even imagine how hard that must have been. And we can relate. Just wanted to, I don't know if y'all gonna be able to see this, but can y'all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
That was when we tried to kill ourselves.
Wow.
Wow.
We took a knife and we were sitting in our car. And this was after we found out a family member deliberately took our kids away.
He did what?
For a long time. It was a family member. We won't say who it was, but was very, don't know, still is to this day, don't know whether they are or not, but was very hateful and spiteful towards us and made a false claim to DCF that we were abusing our kids. And they were a little younger at the time. And already having been through losing our father at age 3, child abuse, foster care, going in the system 2 different times. Flash forward, getting pregnant at a young age, having 4 children before we even hit 30, and being in multiple domestic violence situations. So already going through all that. Yeah, she made a false claim and they came and took our kids away. So we remember sitting in our car, and after we found out it was her, we tried to kill ourselves because it was just too much.
Wow.
It was just too much at the time. And the family we come from, we never really expressed our feelings, which, like we said, Black people don't tend to do. But it's hard enough to even say that you needed help. And we really feel like till this day, sometimes we were the only one brave enough to even step up and say, you know what, I'm messed up. I've been through a lot. I've been hurt, abused, like literally, not even just a figure of speech. But when people found out, just like with you, Connie, they lashed out at us. When we tried to go to get help, they thought we was crazy. They thought, oh, just get over it. It was 5 years ago.
Get over it. That's their favorite word. Favorite word. Get over it.
Don't tell us how to heal.
Woo, they don't know the pain.
Not like if you tell us how to heal. That's we don't care if it takes you 30 years. We're not saying hold a grudge, but if something affects you that deep, get some help. We'll tell anybody that. We talk about that on our show. Until you walk in somebody's shoes, and we can't do that literally, we don't need to be judging each other. We hate that. Everybody's out here going through something. Everybody wants to put on the brave face, and just be Superman, Superwoman. But some days they're bad. They're just bad. And you've been through enough pain and heartache. You don't know how to love. And we went through something similar to what you said, Connie. We was in relationships. We were so used to the arguing and the fighting and the fussing. And now we're with a wonderful man, and we've been married almost 2 years. We're still getting used to the peace.
Yeah.
We
still getting used to it. That's right. That's what that was my issue. I wasn't used to love. I didn't know what love was. My husband tried to love me. That's all he tried to do. And I was always like, get out of my face. What you trying to do to me? Don't touch me. Just crazy. I wasn't used to that love. I didn't know what it was. That's why that first book is When Love Hurts, because people that should have loved me, that I looked up to, didn't love me. I didn't know what love was until I got healed by the mighty hand of God. He showed me what true love was. And that's when I got healed. And when I wrote my book, it released the deliverance. It delivered me from writing it, putting it out of my heart and mind onto paper. And once I penned it and sent it off, so many people got delivered from that book. I'm not a writer. I've never wrote a book in my life, but God just blew on me and said, this is what I want you to do. I went to school to be a Christian counselor, and I had to do my doctorate piece where I had to write paper to get it graded and talk about what I wanted to talk about, what I learned, and so I chose depression. And I pretty much diagnosed my own self, because when I did the research on depression, I found out I had all the markers. And all that pain I didn't even know, because when I would tell people I was depressed, they say, get over it. What you mean you depressed? I'm sad. I don't know why I'm sad. Get over it. You need to get yourself together. Why are you crying? Nobody wanted to help. And so I wrote that book. It was like freedom to me. It's on paper. I told it. The church told me, not to go to counseling. I told that too. The church told me that nothing but the devil. The church told me I was crazy.
That's no one place I tell you
looking at you crazy and all of this crap. I took all of that. I took all them hits for everybody else. For everybody else, I wanted the world to know it's all right to be all right, not be all right.
That's right.
It's all right to grieve. It's all right to be in pain. You're not crazy. You just need help.
Exactly.
And slow and heal. Yeah. That's the most important on your time.
To be healed.
And I commend you. I commend you, Dr. Candi, because regardless of what the church said and how they ridiculed you, that's okay. Because see, that just shows a lack of knowledge and education on their part. Our stories are about us, but they're not for us. They are for us to share and to help someone else. Absolutely. So just like you said, when you wrote your book, And yes, writing does free you.
Oh,
It really
yeah.
does. It frees
Oh,
you.
yeah.
It frees you, and it's like a healing process.
Mhm.
And so, just by you writing that book, look at the people that were delivered.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Mhm.
so it's
Mhm.
all about I have a clubhouse room called Sabotaging Behaviors.
Wow, I got to check that out.
It's on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Central Standard
Yeah.
Time.
Okay, I got to go there.
So this last Monday, we talked about what is your dash.
I love that book.
Okay.
The Dash. I love
And so your dash is your divine assigned series in history, because whether you know it or not, we're all making history into civilization right now.
it.
So your dash is the time that you're born from the time that you exit. That's your dash. Okay. So are you living according to your dash? What are you doing to make your dash purpose driven?
That's good.
Are you walking in your purpose? Now, along your dash, there's going to be some little small dots. And if you ever heard of Morse code, it was like those little small dots, some bigger dots, short dashes, longer dashes. Okay. And each one of those dots and dashes means something. So the little short dots along your dash, those are your mishaps. Those are bad relationships you were in, a job you lost, or illness, the death of a loved one. Okay. But the little short dashes, those are things that you started that you didn't finish. Maybe you started college and you dropped out, or that instrument your parents bought you in the 7th grade you never learned to play. Okay. So those are things that you started, those short dashes, things you started along the great dash, which is your life, that you didn't complete. And then there's a longer dash. Those are milestones, college graduations, marriages, birth of children, awards you may have received, promotions. Those are your longer dashes. And so your dash. And what inspired me to do that, I was watching the coronation of Queen Elizabeth when she was crowned queen so many years ago. And she was saying that she was pledging to devote her life to her country, no matter how long or how short.
I remember that.
I stopped and I said, she was on the throne 70-something years. She lived 90-something years. That's a long dash. I said, but look at Christ. Christ lived 33 years, had a short dash, but what he did, people are still talking about it and benefiting from it 2,000 years later. So is your dash purpose driven? Is it purpose driven? So when we talk about mental illness, those are some little dots or bumps in the road along your dash. But guess what? It does not have to exist and continue the entire dash. Seek guidance, get help. God has given people talents and to get the training and the knowledge to help us. And so take advantage of it.
Amen.
Take advantage of it. And with church leadership, I think the only way that we are going to really combat the problem of suicide is we're going to have to educate everyone. Church leadership, church we'll have to open their eyes to it. Your family members, people in the community, it's going to take a lot of heightening of awareness in the communities. That tribe effect that I talk about. Teaching people how to recognize triggers. Some people, they go through seasonal depression. The weather changes, it's getting cooler outside. Some people start withdrawing and getting depressed.
That's right.
Okay, things happen. People are going through financial trials right now. And, as I tell them at work, be careful how you approach people and how you talk to people. Because, us, we're making a good living. We go to that gas pump and fill that car and don't think anything about it. But you got a single parent out there with 4 kids and $20 in her name.
Yep.
Her name. And she's got to decide whether she's going to put 10 in the car and 10 to feed her kids. But now the gas price is going up. 10 is not going to last but a day, depending on how far she has to go. Yeah. So does she decide to put 15 in the car and 5 for the kids? We're going through some stuff.
Yes.
And we have to be empathetic.
Yes.
We have to be empathetic and compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be, because, like I said, everybody can't cope.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get overwhelmed. And then when people come into the workplace and just tear the workplace up and shoot everybody, you wonder why. Because you didn't treat them right. You didn't respect them. You approached them crazy. You can't do that.
Nope.
You can't do that. We have to show some compassion and some empathy. We have to.
Yep.
We have to.
Yep. And we love this stories, ladies. Constance, we got a question for you in a second, but before we ask that, we just want to say this real fast. And we love hearing about people's healing journey and their whole process. And we're just gonna say for us, it was very hard. People lashed out at us, judged us, and whole 9 yards, and we felt alone for so long. And like we said, we got with our husband, we're still getting used to it, but it's getting easier every day with the trust and everything, because it's something we're not used to. We're not, but it takes time. And one of the things that helped us is learning Islam, because like we mentioned earlier, we are Muslim, and what helped with us was letting go and finding peace. And through studying the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teachings, we learn how to really love ourselves. And it starts with taking care of yourself. And one thing that helped us was we made the mistake. And this is where we say we fell short. We made the mistake of putting our love and depending on other people for love, we should say, for validation, for acceptance, for approval. And now we're just like, look, either you love us or you hate us. We don't know. And our husband likes to joke. He's like, man, your favorite words are I don't care. Because we say that almost every day. And the reason why we do is because we spend so much time caring. We all have any idea that takes so much energy to worry about what other people think.
Yes.
Trying to get their approval, it just got to be so much. So our circle is very small. We don't have a lot of people we talk to, but it's okay because we know the people that really love us, especially now with the change in our life, because these past 2 years have been a whole 360. We changed everything, including the people that we used to deal with. We cut a lot of people off, and they don't like that, and like we don't care. But our peace, it just has to be a priority now. We spend so much time taking care of the kids and relationships, and we just put ourselves on the back burner. And that's another thing that affected us. So through just the path that we are now, and there's still some things we're healing from. And that's, we like to think with everybody. But majority of the things we have healed from, issues with our mom and being in the system and, feeling like no one really loved us. And we still deal with the anxiety every now and then. We have to kind of pause and take a breath and say, okay, Manema, you got this. Just do what you can. Allah's going to take care of the rest. So just breathe and we'll sigh and keep moving. That's what we have to stop and just be.
Yeah. Take a deep breath.
And okay, with the thoughts and things that we go through, like, what's the comparison we can give? We probably say, how you have one thought and another thought comes behind it. And then for you're like, well, what if this goes wrong? What if this happens? What if they say this? We're like, okay, stop. Like, really calm down. You're gonna be fine. And like we said, healing and just letting a lot of things go helped us. And just we really learned how to cut the negativity and
absolutely
so many other things that come with that out of our life. And it's been a lot more peaceful, honestly. And we still a work in progress. We still feel like we're messed up, but hey, it's okay. It's okay. We're okay with that because at least, like we said, we're brave enough, like you guys are, to even tell. So anybody, man, forget them. Tell your story. Anybody, we done been through any kind of trauma, any kind of pain, and we love talking about that on our podcast. We share anything personal, if it'll help. We never know who may jump on and listen, or who may be contemplating suicide. They may hear your show. They may hear you, Dr. Candi. They may hear our show, whatever their preference is. And you know what? I was actually going to end my life today, but these ladies saved my life. Just like whoever's watching right now. They may be, we don't know. And hopefully hearing our story will, and everyone that's watching this, y'all please share. We'll greatly appreciate that. Thank y'all. And just sharing that now, hopefully it will help somebody. So for the people that do that, shame on y'all, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, don't let anybody stand in your way. And just one more thing, we actually had an issue today. And this is one of the reasons why we were dealing with depression. We called our youngest daughter. She's 12. And
it's all right. It's gonna be all right.
Her dad jumps on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Because we haven't seen our children in 2 years. And it's not because we don't want to, but we've been getting things together and getting situated up here. And of course, with COVID, we weren't really trying to travel, because we didn't want to, expose ourselves or get sick or anything. But with our oldest daughter graduating next May, we plan to go down there. But this is one of the issues we had to deal with, and we're only saying this for the because of the topic. But he jumps on the phone, and I just want to know why you don't ever call to speak to your daughter. And our first thought, and it was, we cried in front of our husband. All he could do was hold us. Like it hurt. And it's just like people like you are why people take their life.
Yeah.
It's just so full of hate and negativity. And
wow.
We're not just sitting on our behind. For anyone that sees our social media, we're working 6 days a week, including a day job. And it's all to have something better for our kids. But this is one of the people we had to cut off. And this is the father of our child, and we have you blocked. So that's how much our peace means to us. We don't care who we have to cut off. We've been through enough, and we just bring that up. And then what really brought us to tears was she texted us right after that and said, "Mommy, I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was going to get mad." Don't ever apologize for someone else's stupidity. And we had to tell her, "No, sweetheart, this isn't your fault. You didn't do nothing wrong."
That's right.
Man.
That's what made us cry, because we were just leaving work, and we decided, let's call baby girl and just see how she's doing. And he jumps on the phone, and we call back. And like we said, we believe also in Islam is to be peaceful. That's what a lot of our people are lacking. We don't know how to be peaceful or even co-parent. And it's really sad. And we had to tell her, no, it's not your fault. You didn't do nothing wrong. And for her to do that, it helped, actually. It was crazy because it actually helped, because it reminded us that if she really felt the way he did, she never would have sent that.
That's right.
So she knows what her mama is doing. But it's people like that make people want to commit suicide. Do you really want to be the reason somebody takes their life? That's the deep question.
Yeah, that's the deep
one. You know what you can say to somebody that could trigger them. Like, I may say something wrong, you, Dr. Candi, and you may just spaz out on me. I don't know. That's just an example, but you never know what you can say to somebody. And
that's so true.
It's very painful. It's very painful. But I wish our husband's the best. He helped us kind of just get over it, and he's just like, it's gonna be okay. So like we said, that's something we're not really used to, because when we would cry, a lot of times it would be by ourselves. Or unfortunately, one of our kids would see us, but it would be just overwhelming. And wow, forgive us for that. We didn't mean to. But
well, it's good that you got it out, and now you won't worry about it. You won't stress about it. It's good. It's all right to show your emotions. There's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that.
It's not even him, honestly. Because I closed that chapter. But when my daughter sent the text, that's what made me cry. Because obviously you're doing this in front of her. Now, how you know you're not affecting her mentally?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what's wrong with our people. We don't know how to love each other. We treat each other like garbage. We treat other races like kings and queens. We don't know how to help each other or anything. And that's a big factor, we feel like, why people deal with depression and mental illness, because we always judging each other. We always killing each other. We always gossiping and talking about each other. We have all this time and energy to do that, but we can't say, hey man, you know, I got you. Whatever you need, you just call me. You know, you need to talk to somebody. I'm not going to tell your business, because that's how we are. It's like if we were having a one-on-one conversation with either one of you ladies, what's you tell us, it stays with us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not the type, because we know how that feels. But you know, that
A
was
lot of this stuff is coming from generational curses.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It is. It's coming from generational curses. And I think our people, Black people particularly, we've been through so much through the slavery, and I think we just never got over it. And it's just it's perpetuating from generation to generation until somebody stops, like we all, that say, look, enough is enough, and get your family aside, talk to them, and pour into them. And hopefully we can break that cycle. But you have to do it in your own family. You have to live the life that kids will look up to and want to inspire to be like. So we have to be better parents. I had a daycare for 25 years. I've seen so much you would believe how people would bring their kids to school with, you know, soiled diapers, wouldn't feed them, wouldn't come pick them up, you know, abusing the kids, all kind of stuff. And so that just going to perpetuate the bitterness and the anger. And that's where you see all this killing from these young people that are killing up folk. They had a terrible childhood life. You got to go back to the root of the problem. Why are we killing each other? And so we really it's all about parenthood. If you decide you're going to be a parent, be a good parent. Like you said before, Queen Candi, you don't be like out there with your teenage daughter, trying to be a teenage daughter all over again, with your
time
dress
and
tight as
came
hers and just as short as hers, trying to be cool and, you know, doing the things in front of her that you know ain't right. And so what you think that child's gonna do? She's gonna do the same thing you're doing. It's gonna perpetuate over and over. So we got to break that cycle. Somebody got to wake up and say, no, enough is enough. So I think if each generation does that and have somebody that steps up and be the parent that we need to be and pour into them, eventually I'm hoping and praying, I'll probably be dead and gone when it happens, but I really believe we can reverse this curse. We can reverse this curse if everybody get together and be on board and start loving each other and loving our race, knowing who we are, where we came from. We served God, we served each other, we had nobody but each other. And the church was a beacon of light for our community. And now that's just all torn apart, just like the neighborhood is torn apart. We're not neighbory anymore. And that's where you're seeing all this hatred, because they never got healed. They never stopped to get healed and realize they need something higher than themselves. So that's what we need to go back to. We got to humble ourselves and realize that we can't do it all. And it's nobody's fault but ours. If you don't want to get yourself checked, ain't nobody's fault but yours.
Exactly.
You gotta want to be healed.
Okay.
And Constance, you want to share your personal experience with
Well, I've never had a personal experience with depression. Never really had any trauma. Okay. Now my story, my thing is one from coming from a place and space of dealing with obesity from the age of 3 to the age 50. So that probably was my biggest struggle. You know, I struggled with my weight all of my life. Every diet out there, I can tell you about it because I've been on it. I've lost the weight, but the problem was could not sustain the weight loss. Okay. And so at the age of 50, I witnessed my dad have 2 massive strokes back to back. And that was my wake up call. I was like, okay, you have got to get this weight off of you and keep it off of you. So I had to admit some things to myself. I love to eat. I still do. I love to eat. I like good stuff. And I don't like to be restricted. Those were the 3 things that was hindering me from maintaining my weight loss. So I said, okay, so now you have to change your lifestyle. So what I did was the regular size dinner plate in your home is 7 inches in diameter. If you go to a restaurant, it's 9 inches in diameter. That's way too much food. Way too much. So I went to Target and bought some plates that were 4.5 to 5 inches in diameter. I did not change what I cooked. I did not change how I prepared it. I would eat a small amount of whatever I fixed. And if it didn't fit on that little 4.5-inch plate, we didn't eat it. I had to teach myself and train myself how to eat less. I had to modify that behavior. You know, scripture talks about that mindset transformation. That's real. That is real. You have to transform and renew your mind daily. And it took me about 6 months to train myself because I had spent over 40 years of being able to eat at leisure. When I got ready, you know, nobody stopped me. Even as a kid, nobody stopped me. You know, I had an eating habit and my parents supplied it well. You know, I had what I wanted, whatever snacks I wanted, whatever food, my mother knew what I liked and she cooked it. And so, you know, 1 minute she tell me, well, you need to lose weight. And 5 minutes later, girl, come get some of these brownies I got down here. So I had to train myself. I'm serious. I had to train myself on how to eat. And that's what it took me 6 months to do it. But I can tell you this is year 13 for me with my weight loss. I went from a size 20. I went from a size 24 to a size 8.
Wow. That's
okay.
I have kept that weight off for. I'm going to my 13th year. May of next year will be 13 years. And so,
that's good.
But what happened as a result of me being overweight, because the kids pick at you. I'm in high school years now. Didn't go on any dates, didn't get invited to the prom because I was overweight. I go to college. I spent 4 years on a college campus, never went on a date, was never asked on a date because I was overweight. So by the time I left college, man, I was tore up because I didn't trust anybody. I was insecure. And people that know me, I presented one way, always presented very confident, strong, but inside I was not. That song about the tears of a clown.
Yeah.
That was me. And so, you know, I had to work on, and that's why I started this room on Clubhouse. This is something I'm very passionate about. I had to work on those sabotaging behaviors that I engaged in as a result of being overweight. And so that's how that room came into vision. And like I said, something that's near and dear to my heart. And we talk about the sabotage behaviors in that room. And it's a healing process. And as I was writing my chapter for the anthology about being invisible, and one of my college roommates read it, and she texts me back. She says, I never knew you felt that way. She said, because you were always so upbeat and happy. And she says, you used to always encourage us. She says, I never knew you felt that way. And I says, I did. I said, I felt very invisible. Because what happens is when you're overweight, you may be the biggest person in the room, but you're the least noticed.
And that ironic?
You're the least
noticed.
Yes.
Well, ironic.
And so, yeah. And so that's probably my biggest story there.
Yeah.
And that's why I am in that Clubhouse room. And you said something earlier, Queen Candi, about people. You never know, something that may be said tonight that will help somebody, or something Dr. Candi may say on her YouTube show.
Yeah.
I have been in that Clubhouse room some nights, and we've been on 2.5 to 3 hours because people start chiming in late and they see what the room is about and they hear the conversations, and then they open up, they feel free to come and talk, and then they come to the stage. And I mean, it is just powerful some nights in there.
Wow.
Nice.
You know, they really get a lot out of it. You know, Monday night, the room started off small, and I was getting ready to close the room out, and people just started coming in.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I mean, and they started talking, and then they're bringing up things, you know, and we're talking about that dash. And this one man came in, he says, wow, he says, I never thought about it like that. He said, but you know what? He said, that's good. He said, I never thought about it. I said, so your dash is your contribution to civilization, because we're all making a contribution right now.
Yep.
So as I tell that, you know, it's one thing to do something, But if you're doing it for your own self-glory, that's meaningless. If it's not to edify the kingdom or to help encourage or empower someone else, it has no meaning whatsoever. We used to sing this song in the AME church, only what you do for Christ will last.
Hey, yeah.
And may my living not be in vain. Okay, your dash.
Mm-hmm.
Your dash.
Yeah.
Amen.
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. And even dealing with, your weight problems, that still can be a factor to your mental health. So it can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be verbal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's still a story in itself. So yeah, that's still a battle you have to fight with. It was on the outside and the inside. So
yeah, and I tell parents to have children, especially like little preteens that are overweight. I say you need to combat that problem right now. I says I'm telling you from personal experience. Overweight children become, if you don't stop it, they become overweight adults. And what's happening is now the insurance companies are focusing on it because we got children age 8 being diagnosed with diabetes at age 8 and high cholesterol levels. It's the foods that we're eating for one.
Yeah.
I stopped eating fast food, 15 years ago. And I tell you what, it made a difference in my life because, like I told my son, I said, how do you think McDonald's and Burger King can afford to sell those burgers so cheap? That's not the quality beef. I said, what do you think happens to the elderly, sickly cows? You think they just kill them and throw them away? I said, no, that's that meat they're selling at McDonald's.
Oh Lord! Well, guess what?
I know it's
not. No. And so it's the stuff we're eating, and so you have to be cognizant of that. And so it's just you have to really be careful, and it really is an emotional drain to deal with that. And you think from the age of 3 to the age of 50, that's a long time. That's a long time. And I can never forget, some of my aunts came to visit me one weekend about 3 years ago. And my dad's family, they're heavy set, stockier built people anyway. And so one of them said to me, why did you lose all that weight? And she was saying it in a critical way. Why did you lose all that weight? And I looked at her and I said, you see how your ankles are all swollen right now? I says, my physical makeup is just like you guys. Okay. I said, you see how your knees are swollen? I said, I didn't want to endure that. I said, I did not want to walk around with my feet swollen, my ankles swollen and hurting, my knees hurting, my hips hurting. I didn't want that. I said, high blood pressure runs in the family. I didn't want to go through that. Diabetes runs on both sides of my family. I didn't want to go through that. I said, so that is why I lost the weight.
That's great.
That is why. And the beautiful thing about it was I didn't realize it, but I was teaching my son my same bad eating habits, because what we would do is we'd come home and he said, Mama, we got any place to go this evening? I said, no. He'd go and shower, put his pajamas on. That was our routine. We come in for the day, put our pajamas on, eat, watch television, eat, snack, eat, lay up on the couch, no physical activity, go to bed. That was 7 days a week. And so he had started picking up weight. But see, I was teaching him my same bad habits. And so when he saw what I was doing with the smaller plates one day, he said, what are you doing? And I said, son, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to retrain myself on how to eat properly. He says, you know what? I think I'm going to go on a diet with you. And he did. He lost 30 pounds and he's maintained his weight. He changed his eating style. Now he still eats that fast food. Even though I scared him about the sick cow.
Avoid that if you can.
But I was amazed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been teaching this boy my bad habits. And so he went on a weight loss journey with me and lost the weight, and he's maintained his. So, when puberty sets in, especially for girls, and you got that extra weight, it's just rough. It's an emotional roller coaster, and it's rough. And so I encourage parents all the time you know, just kind of change your lifestyle a little bit, you know, and let the whole family be involved to help that child. I said, because you really feel alone. Because a lot of times you're the only one in the family that's overweight.
Yep.
And I know for me, my mother, she didn't know how to help me. She'd never been overweight. She didn't know how to help me. She did. And, you know, all my cousins were skinny, and here I am. I'm overweight. And so I was the oddball out.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. It really is. But thank God.
You did it. That's
And
wonderful.
all I can say is thank God. Now I'm in a situation I'm trying to gain some weight. I had COVID and I lost 20-something pounds. I'm like, I have never been this small in my life.
Wow, you did?
Yeah. I was, look, COVID worked me over. I'll tell anybody.
How long did it last? How long did it last?
8 weeks.
Well, I was telling a friend of mine today, I said, honey, because she has it. And she was saying how bad she feels. I said, honey, I said, COVID. I said, my mother never beat me the way COVID did. Oh my God.
I mean, were you able to like eat? Could you taste foods?
I could taste it. I had an appetite and I could taste it. I couldn't keep it down. And so for like 10 days straight, no intake. And I was so weak one night. I asked my sons, just fix me a glass of Gatorade. Let me try it. And I couldn't even handle the Gatorade. It was just that bad. I lost like 26 pounds when I had COVID.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, you know, we're glad you don't have any more.
Did you say how many weeks was it? 15 weeks?
It took me 8 weeks to get over it.
That's like 2 months?
Yeah, 8 weeks. It took me 8 weeks to get over it. It sure did.
So would you call yourself a long hauler? They call it COVID long haulers. They have side effects.
Yes. Because when it started off, I had a sore throat, but you know, I had been traveling. And I don't know why. Every time I fly, I get a sore throat. So I didn't think anything about it.
Right.
And then the next morning, my head it just felt like somebody had taken a pump and pumped my head full of air. It was just those pressure headaches. And that lasted like 5 days. I was congested, never ran a fever. And I could not eat anything. It would not stay down. But then after all that passed, the fatigue is what got me. I could walk from my den to my kitchen and I had to sit down. It was just that bad. So so I thank God I got over that.
Thank God.
But yeah.
So, oof. That's crazy. Okay, ladies, we done went over an hour.
I know, we have chit-chatting. Chit-chatting, shooting the breeze.
This has been a great conversation, y'all. And thank y'all once again for even sharing your story. Thank y'all for hearing ours as well. We thank y'all so much for even reaching out. Obviously, we can see this is a topic that's very close to a lot of people, including us three as well. So thank y'all for sharing your story, Dr. Candi. I loved yours, especially with we try to be sensitive with trauma that you went through, you know, as a young girl. We can definitely relate to something like that as well. And Constance, that we can relate to both of y'all. So we're just gonna say that. But we're just gonna say this and we're gonna close out. If y'all are going through anything, we should have got a number for a hotline, something. We didn't even think about that. But anyway, y'all go on Google. Y'all can go on Google, type in suicide prevention help. I'm pretty sure there should be some information that comes up. Find someone you close to that you can trust if you can. Talk to them. But of course, we know people are going to judge and they're going to have their own opinion, but don't let that stop you from getting help. Whatever help, it's never too much. It's never too little if it's going to save your life.
That's right.
So with all that being said, what we're going to do is, Connie, we're going to let you guys give your last words of wisdom, of course, and let everybody know where they can find you at. And we think we said this at the beginning of the show. We all are on the CTR Media Network. We all each have our own show and podcast. So we're going to let you guys give your last few words of wisdom for the evening, and we'll put the social media on the screen, and then we're going to close out. So, Connie, we're going to let you go up first.
Okay, I just want
to close out.
Yes. If anybody's out there tonight that is struggling with suicide tendencies, I just want you to know that there is hope. God can help you. Loved ones can help you. Reach out, get some help. Go to the hotline, suicide hotline. You are important. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. God made you and marvelous in his sight. You can do anything but fail. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye ever lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and let the kingdom of God come into your spirit and your soul. He is the only one that can really heal you from the inside out. He knows what you're going through. He suffered himself, and we was yet without sin. And he gave us an opportunity to come to him when we can't go to nobody else. You say you don't trust people. I understand. I didn't trust people. You say someone that you love hurt you. I understand that. I've been hurt. But God gave me another chance. He gave me 3 chances to get my life together and to get to people and share this wonderful news that you can be free. You can bounce back from a setback and live your best life. So lift up your heads and give me a great big smile. It's going to be okay. Morning is coming. Morning is coming. Just look up and you will see it coming, and that right early. God bless you.
And we're gonna go to you, Constance, and y'all see all of Dr. Connie Green's social media. So make sure y'all go follow her, and we're gonna put this up again. We are on the CTR Media Network, so y'all go check out her show, Wisdom Tips with Connie Green. Thank you once again, Miss Connie. And we're gonna go to Constance. Any last words?
Yes. Know your worth. Know that you are important. Your life has meaning. If your life didn't have meaning, God would have never brought you here. In spite of what may be going on around you, how bad, how serious it may seem to you, know that you will be delivered. Trouble does not last always. It does not. It does not. It's going to be okay. Hold your head up, smile, and you never know how your smile may affect someone else. And so I'm going to ask you to know your worth, know that you are important, and that your dash, your divine purpose, it has meaning and it's for a reason. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, ladies. Thank you once again for coming on our show, the Queen Candy Podcast. Everyone, y'all know where y'all can come follow us at as well on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, Queen Candy Podcast. We will follow you back. We will show support as well. Make sure y'all go follow these lovely sisters we have on the screen, these beautiful queens, survivors, we like to call them. Soldiers, we like to call them, because y'all have some stories. So we definitely oh man. And we're only 37. So hearing you guys' stories, we know we still have a great little journey to go. So we can't wait to see what's gonna happen. And we real excited, especially at this point in our life, about the future. We definitely want to see how you guys' platform and your story and your show grows. So we will definitely be in touch. Thank you, ladies, once again for coming on the show, sharing your story. And we hope that this, inspires someone and, spreads positivity and uplifts someone to, wake up and, love yourself. And you get one life, and it can be hard, but you still got to live it, and you make it through any trials and tribulations. And as you can see, with living proof, you can make it. Don't listen to what these people, if they're not trying to save themselves or do anything with themselves, don't listen to them. We call them haters.
Okay.
If they're not supporting or giving you a pat on the back, we call you a hater. So don't listen to them. You are beautiful. You are not here by accident. You are the original man, the woman. You don't have to be like anybody else. And this is stuff we said to ourselves. So, love yourself. Hold your head up. You may not be where you want to be at, but you're not in the same situation you were in. So it can always be worse. We've seen it, been through it, and we survived it. And, you know, we give all praise to Allah for even for being here. We shouldn't be here. We really shouldn't. We should be dead or sitting in somebody's jail cell. But our life was saved as well. And, you know, it's been beautiful. Just make it through that rain, make it through that storm, y'all. Whatever path you choose, you will make it through that. We promise you that. So with all that being said, ladies, we're going to let y'all go. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. And we definitely going to link up, Constance. We want to come on your show. We want to come on your show as well.
Yes, come on. Listen.
Okay.
Listen, because we're doing the series every second and fourth Tuesday on relationships and dating. And so this coming Tuesday, we talked about the effects of culture, religion, and money.
Wow.
So Queen Candi,
yes,
from a Muslim perspective, I would love to have you join us, Dr. Connie. I would love to have you join us. I'm going to reach out to both of you tonight.
Okay.
I would love to have you as a panelist because I think that's important. We need to discuss that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you think about it, the church does not talk about dating.
They don't.
The AME church didn't. And scripture doesn't talk about it either.
Nope.
Not the right ones.
That's right. So we're out there just operating blind.
That's right.
Blind up and down.
With all kind of, you know, misconceptions, and then we wonder why our families are all torn up from the floor up.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. And we definitely can give a perspective from a Muslim.
Yes.
You know, view on that. And like we said, we know everyone has their own beliefs, but we can definitely give. So yeah, just let us know. We can get something
let us know.
Okay. Dr. Connie, reach out to me on Messenger and I'll get you, or either I'll reach out to you and get your email address and I'll email you the details.
Okay.
I would love to have you guys on not next Tuesday, Tuesday after next, October 11th.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Candi.
All right, ladies, and thank you to everyone for joining.
Enjoyed you guys.
We have a couple people on Facebook and YouTube, so thank you to everyone for joining in. Y'all, ladies, have a blessed evening, and we're definitely gonna be talking. Y'all, stay safe, okay?
You too, Queen Candi. Right. Thank you so much for inviting us on.
God bless problem. You. Thank y'all for coming on. We really do appreciate it. We don't just say that. We really do appreciate it. Thank y'all.
God bless. Thank you too.
CTR Media Network was created for today's podcasters. We provide a safe haven for content creators that are everyday people doing extraordinary things. We have a system of positioning, monetization training, coaching, and support for our podcasters' success. CTR Media Network simply bridges that gap with a level playing field for your dreams to come true cost effectively. Our team provides a premium service and experience for our podcasters to grow. CTR Media Network provides access, support, resources, coaching, and community for our podcasters to win, if you put in the work. We believe that we are living in a unique time which requires you to share your message of hope with millions of people around the world. Remember that the world is never too saturated for you, your voice and message. A platform for positive impactful media where the content creators are in the driver's seat. Visit our website today by going to www.ctrmedianetwork.com.